Good morning. I'm Dr. Robert Svoboda, and this is 5 Minutes with Dr. Robert. Today, we're discussing the planet Saturn, or more accurately, the Graha Saturn, because I will be discussing it from the perspective of Jyotisha, or Indian divination, particularly the astrological approach to evaluating reality as is explained in classical Indian wisdom. From the perspective of astrology, it is not so much that the planets out there are directing what goes on in our lives, but rather that the movements of the planets in the sky reflect the movements of the karmas in our experience. Each of us has performed karmas. These karmas have accumulated. We have to experience the results of these karmas. And it is via the activities of the 9 grahas that are respected in Jyotish that these karmas are worked out through each one of us. They're called grahas because the Sanskrit word graha means to grasp, to grip, to grab, or even to grope. So these grahas are always trying to grasp us, to take us over, and to cause us to move around in the world in ways that reflect the karmas that we have already performed and that we have to experience the results of. My mentor in Jyotish, Mr. Mantri, was always fond of saying that really, even though there are 9 planets in Jyotish, only one of them is important, and that one is Shani, or Saturn. And that's because Saturn is, as Vimalanandaji liked to use to say, the planet of Anubhava, the planet of experience. That means that Shani, or Saturn, is in charge of making us experience all those things that we never really wanted to experience, that we always kind of thought maybe we'd be able to avoid experiencing. And those include things like disease and ill health in general, and lack of vitality, and obstruction, and dissatisfaction, and old age, and death. All of these come under the portfolio of Saturn. So there is a concept in traditional Jyotish that one should attempt to align oneself in a meaningful way with these grahas in order to attempt to facilitate the experience of the results of our karmas in the best way possible. And the most difficult of these grahas to align with is, of course, this very Saturn. And part of that reason is because he moves so slowly. That's what his name means, Shani. He's also called Manda, which also means slow. And it's because he moves slowly and inexorably, because he works with such deliberation that in addition to the many methods or upayas or astrological remedies that are indicated by many traditional sources for bringing Shani into an alignment that is more agreeable for us, perhaps the most important thing is to acknowledge that being disciplined, being willing to accept one's fate and work with it instead of trying to reject it or trying to take on someone else's fate, is the most important and noteworthy way to work with this particular force of reality. So I bow down to Saturn to Shani, a planet who has no sense of humor, and I request him politely, on my behalf and on all of your behalves as well, that he offer us mercy, grace, and the ability to be disciplined and take on our responsibility for our own actions as we move forward in the world. Thank you, and goodbye.